Today I'm going to show you the 5 quilt patterns you need to make this year. If you're a beginner, these will take your quilting skills to the next level. If you're a pro, this video is packed full of tips and hacks for creating stunning quilts in no time. Now, I want to start nice and easy with my number 5. We need 4 strips of contrasting fabrics. We want 2.5 by 18-inch strips, all in different colors and patterns. And there are a lot of versions for this quilt block. In fact, the first time I made it, I used 5 strips in different sizes. But this is the stunning but simple version. It's also the traditional one, I think. Let's sew these real quick. Next, we need to measure our length and cut 2 squares in the exact same width. Mine are about 8.5 inches. And you know what comes next? We need flat seams that are well behaved. Time to create our quilt block. We place 1 square on top of the other, just in a different direction. So one has horizontal strips and the other has vertical strips. And now we sew all around the 4 sides. And this is actually a pretty great quilt block to make with jelly rolls. That way you don't have to waste time cutting your strips. Final steps to cut these blocks diagonally on both directions. And as you've probably figured out, this is a Hidden Wells quilt block and it was created by Mary Ellen Hopkins in 1989. It was made with the intention to put leftover strips of fabric to good use. Been there and done that. Then we opened them into 4 smaller blocks that look oh so cute, and time to play a little bit. And this is why I've picked this quilt block and why I love it so much. It is incredibly versatile. You can make so many different patterns with this block, and I have made a video with those variants about a year ago, so I'll put that one in the description for you. Because if I spend all the time I want playing with these, we will be here forever and I don't want to bore you. So go check that out. This is the traditional look of a Hidden Wells quilt block, and we are done with our first quilt block. Okay, time for our number 4, and it's my very first time making this quilt block, so here goes nothing. Most people do this quilt block pattern the hard way, by cutting up all the pieces before they sew them, which for me creates room for all kinds of disasters. I am making this using half square triangles. That way I'll be able to get a better control of what I'm doing at all times. Hopefully. We will need 2 5.5-inch squares in different colors. One of them is a background, so I am making mine white. Then we need 2 5.5-inch squares in the same color, a different one from the first 2. Then we need 4 3.5-inch squares from that background color we talked about, so my white, and 4 3.5-inch squares from a 4th color. And we're good to go. Let's make some half square triangles. We pair up the 5.5-inch squares and sew all around the 4 sides. Then we cut them diagonally in both directions and we press and trim to 3.5-inch squares, the same size as those other squares we're adding to this. Don't forget to check your angle, okay? Time to assemble this beauty, and we need our corners first. The middle is essentially a pinwheel that just seems to grow claws out of it. I don't know how to explain it any other way, but it is. Our Clay's Choice quilt pattern is looking pretty cute and ready to be sewn. This block was named after an American politician who lived between the 1700s and 1800s. And when he was asked to tone down his anti-slavery speech in order to have a shot at being president, he famously said, "I'd rather be right than be president." Henry Clay's honorable stance won him the honor of having a quilt block bearing his name. And here we have it, Clay's Choice, looking stunning. How easy was this? We are halfway there, and our number 3 is an all-time favorite of mine, done the easy way. It is a 3D quilt block pattern. Looks really complicated to make, but it really isn't. And you need to make it at least once in your life because it is so much fun to make. So 3 different color fabrics, 2 light fabric strips that are 3 inches, 2 medium, and 2 dark fabric strips that are 2.5 inches. And this is what creates that shadowy effect that gives us the 3D illusion. This is how we combine and sew them real quick. cut. Using a 60-degree ruler or a regular ruler with a 60-degree angle, we start with one group of strips and cut 60-degree angle in one direction, meaning we will cut the other strip in a different direction like so. Next, we cut 2.5 pieces in both strips. Yes, we are making more than just one quilt block at a time, which is awesome for getting a quick quilt done in no time. I said this one was easy, right? These are our pieces, and now we need to cut them in half in the lighter fabric, still keeping with the 60-degree angle, okay? And this is why we make the lighter fabric larger, for the seam allowance. It is also how we avoid doing Y seams. We are doing a tumbling block pattern, of course, and this is actually quite old because you can see tumbling blocks on the mosaic on the floor for ancient Greece buildings. It really is that ancient. Time to assemble. I love this part. Watching the blocks come to life. Oh, look at that. Now, the way we sew it is by rows, piece by piece, and then we sew the rows together and get our blocks. Ah, how awesome is this? And nothing to it. We are down to our front runner, our number 2, and it's another star. I love star quilt patterns. There's something so special about them. I really think you'll love making this one. And it actually used to scare me a lot until I found the right way to do it. We need 4 5-inch squares in one color or in different colors as you prefer, and 4 5-inch wide squares. Let's make some half square triangles. Time to cut them quickly, and we've done this enough times today. Don't forget to press and trim so we can make a perfect star. And with these kinds of patterns, you want to be as thorough as you possibly can. And now we make our star corners. Ah, so pretty. Let's sew. Time to finish our Hunter Star quilt block real quick. This is a classic pattern. It just screams quilting to me, and I love to find easier ways to make those kinds of quilt patterns. It is incredibly beautiful, and it's one of those that when you look at it the first time, you think it is incredibly complicated. But then, as you start doing it, the way I do it, of course, it's actually pretty simple. I actually made a video about a year ago with 3 ways to make Hunter stars. So if you'd like to know more, including the traditional way, I'll leave a link in the description for you. And look at that, perfection. And before we know it, we are down to number 1. Oh, how I missed making these videos. I am having a blast. And we are going out with a bang, almost literally. We start out with 2 3-inch squares. Let's sew. Now this is one of those blocks that goes by many names, but there always seems to be an explosive component about it. Now we gently cut diagonally to open the top square, only the top square. This is not a half square triangle, okay? Let's press this one quickly, and now we measure what we have. We need another square in that exact size. And quite honestly, you can make this quilt block as big as you want it. As long as you keep measuring and adding squares in the exact same size of what you already have, you're good to go. You can cut off the corners if they bother with the sewing and just keep going. And you know me, this is the free flow kind of quilt block I love. It's almost like we're playing a game. I think its most famous version, possibly the original one, was by Jenny of the Missouri Star Company. So a very contemporary quilt block here. It's an exploding quilt block, and it's a blast to make. Okay, I am cutting myself off at 7 inches before this gets out of hand. And look at how gorgeous this looks. When you first look at it, it's hard to believe it was this simple to make. Anyone can do it, as promised. And here we have it, our top 5 quilt blocks ready to go. What do you say? Will you take me up on my suggestions? I do hope so, because you will have a lot of fun. What other quilt blocks are you planning on making this year? Please let me know, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!